Okay, we have one side pretty much put together. We got holes drilled, we got bolts. We're gonna torque it to factory specs. Then we'll take you along when we do the passenger side. But ooh, she's getting after it. It looks so good. I can almost feel the snowflakes right now on our back. We got the plow guy right here. Plow guy right here. Okay, here we go. So, one done, tightened. Number two. So the mount itself bolts right where normally there's one long bolt that goes through here to hold the hooks on, the tow hooks. So that long bolt right there gets replaced with two shorter ones on the plow mount. So one is right there, and the other is right. Whoop. So here we got the one bolt in, loop, right there, and the other bolt in over here. And as you can tell, before we took it off, these bolts are mounts for the bumper were folded back. There had been a light hit on this bumper, so we got those back in place. So now, where this poor guy mounts here, these are going to be bent out of place. But I don't think we're going to be putting a bumper back on, or at least not that one for sure. We have two other spare bumpers we can use. So, okay, so once you get the top mounted, or the front, you just kind of spin it up into place, and that's way too easy. So this side fought him, I should say. So as you can see, there's a metal plate that goes in to support the nut right there. You saw that sink in there. And that just reinforces this front frame horn. I mean, it's strong, but that reinforces it, spreads the load across. You can see that right up in there. This, you painted this right here, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm like, is that something leaking there? I didn't see anything leaking, but okay. So we got two bolts in the front. They just bolt right in. Then there's two holes we got to drill in the back, or one?
Two.
Two holes we got to drill in the back.
One horizontal, one vertical.
One up and down. One sideways. You can see our directions there. Talk about that. So just to give you a quick example here. So like where bolt 5 is, you drill a hole straight back. And then where bolt 3 is, it's got that bar in. You get to sneak in the top of the frame to get that guy in. Just the two holes, so it's not too bad. I don't remember how many holes we had to drill on the
just two total.
So
one on each side.
On the one ton, one hole on each side.
But they were big holes and a thick frame.
But they were big on a very thick frame. So we were going to drill bit school on how to sharpen old trusty drill bits. So we ended up buying one really nice drill bit.
We bought, I think, two, and we destroyed one.
Yeah, was it, $30 or something like that for a drill bit? As Mortski likes to recommend Norseman drill bits and reamers, someday we're going to break down, and maybe this guy will buy me a set for my birthday.
See, I broke down and actually had my sister she's like, anything on Amazon for your birthday. So, problem is that kit is too small to have the right one for this.
Yeah.
But it's good for drilling small holes.
Yep.
And pilot holes.
We've debated, do you paint the steering cooler? Forget it! Do you paint the steering cooler or leave it? We read online that you could hurt your cooling by adding paint to it.
Except for it has paint from the factory, so that wouldn't make any sense.
I'm like, well, there was paint on it at one point in time, but it kind of ejected itself, so I don't know. Okay. Oh, that's right. This is one of the clips. Holds the grill on. They got kind of neat little clips. So we will get ready to drill our holes in the back. And think we might take this guy out of here and mount our box right here. We don't use compressed air in here anymore, so okay, we will come back.
Full action. That one and that one that go there and there on this majestic beast. So yeah, we'll get them drilled. Milwaukee power right there.
So starting to lay out the wiring harnesses for your headlights on your driver and your passenger side. Follow the directions. They plug in pretty easy. You've got to do one addition is make sure you have a bolt you can connect to on the power right there. So you had to put a longer one in, had to trim the rubber off there, if you know what I'm talking about. Trim that edge and give a little more juice there. You need to do a that one down there, a big fuse box. She's over there now. We're gonna put a little bracket right here to mount our all of our plugins to, and then the power will be right next to it, which is nice. So this guy hangs out the front of the grill. This guy hangs out the front of the grill, and we're gonna mock the grill up here in just a minute. And we got lots of nice openings either on top right here or right here. So we've got headlights, grill, marker lights. So if we've got room, no problem. Right across the top is nice and easy. And right about here is where they plug in onto the frame for the plow. So long story short, you can see all of the metal debris down there. We've got our holes drilled. We've got that mount pretty much there. Just got to go through and tighten the bolts. I believe they say 75 foot-pounds. They're all the same size. Half-inch course, 13. And once we get that done, then we can go through and get the lights, get the grill in place. And pretty soon we got to get that bracket. Like I said, I think we'll build just a little bracket off of here. This is where an expansion tank was for air pump. This had an air pump on it with airbags in the back. They quit working about 15 years ago and we just left it. So we will use that space. We pulled the pump out, a few more pounds worth of saving off the front. We got lots of different hardware if we ever want to get into airbag stuff again. I don't think that pump would hold up to do a big a lowered 3/4 Suburban or whatever. We got two of those, the non-lowered versions, and we'll get there. So one thing at a time. We got all the hardware stuff almost done. Then we'll get the electrical mocked up and then get the grill back in place, and we're getting there. So not a super difficult project. You just have to be careful, take your time, make sure you put everything in the right place. The dealership for the plow charge between $500 and $600 to do it, and they've done a bazillion plows, so they could probably do it pretty quick, probably 2 hours, 3 hours. Take us a little bit longer than that, but we'll get it all right. So there you go. So lights are kind of sort of in place. We got our big fuse started. Might need to make a little bit longer piece to get to where we want to be. Building a little extra heavy duty bracket to run our computer. Where'd the computer go? He's got it over here. So we got a the different ports for your lights and everything else. And see, we got mounted on there. Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be pretty, but fortunately, this is both. And we sneak it in right about there. We're putting it, you know, want to keep our eye on our hood clearance right there. So right about, I do right about there. Keep it just a little bit below there, and we should be good. And then we have got another stud here to mount our fusible link, and just so it's not floating around under here. Yeah, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. Trying to figure out how long you need for your plugins. This actually goes to the plow unit itself, and we got plenty of room here to sneak by, so we can kind of know how long it needs to be, and then feed it back in, and then start putting some straps on stuff there. One more. This guy goes into the plow there too, and this runs back to your joystick over there, so you can control the plow up and down and side to side. So someday, if we ever see the need, we'll do an extendable one, we'll get a V plow, we'll get whatever, but these work just fine. Less moving the parts, less things to break, right? Look at that. Look at that right there, getting after it. So it's getting to be late, almost 6 here. We got here, I don't know, about noon, middle afternoon, maybe 1. Had some work around the house to do, and worked on the other plow truck here. But, oh, that's right. I think we talked about the other unit. It's that Firestone air compressor that used to be over here. Took that guy out. Little extra weight off the front. Yeah. So I'm not really worried. I don't think we're going to have to play with the Torsen keys and crank them up at all. If we do, we'll play with that, but I think we're probably good. So maybe we'll put some 35-inch tires on the front and 31s on the back. I don't know. That was a joke. Okay. We're getting there. Another couple hours, and we'll have all the wiring done the rest of the way. One thing we got to get creative with is figuring out a hole to go through the firewall and shoot that line. We could also run it along the door and fender, but we want to try to shoot this one right through the firewall, keep it out of the way, and we'll have to get creative and see where we get there. Oh, yep, that's just about the perfect size. Maybe right through the windshield. We'll just drill a hole through, yep. We'll get rid of the brakes, we don't need the brakes. Intake's plastic, we can go through there too, right? Okay, we're a full service shop right here. We've got all the tape measures, and a few more here, some of various vintages, and still my favorite one I use around the house, which is dying and dying and dying. One last thing, check this out, a genuine Anderson Gilliard keychain. From Becker, Minnesota. That's where Grandpa worked for a long time until he didn't. So that's pretty cool. And of course we use that on his Suburban. So there we go. Minnesota's roast.